Hello, welcome back, and thank you for joining me. I'd especially like to thank all of you who have joined me recently here. There have been a number of folks, so welcome. Quick word here. This series of videos is designed for all experience levels. Whether you have never picked up this course and you're just wondering about it, or whether you're brand new, or whether you've been practicing for 30 plus years. There's something that you'll hear today that you're meant to hear. So thank you for joining me. As we go forward in the text of A Course in Miracles, we're talking about prayer and the answer to prayer and the real, true purpose of this course. I mean, the real purpose of this course and the answer to prayer. We're in chapter 9 of the text, section 2, which is entitled The Answer to Prayer. So, in our experience, however vast, here in the world with prayer, we all seem to have experienced something that looked like failure. It looked like we didn't get what we were asking for. And we're told here in the very first paragraph of this section that this is inevitable when we ask for something, when we ask for a brand new car, when we ask for a dramatic pay increase, when we ask that our big toe gets better because we stubbed it and it has a bruise, when we ask for things here in the world, it is inevitable, is it not, that sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. And in those multiple times where we don't, because it happens often enough, it's very tempting to think that, well, this is a waste of time. My prayers are never answered, ever. Well, maybe they are sometimes, but not this time. So what the hell? Right? What gives? Come on. Can't you give me that Mercedes? Come on, give me that raise. I'm due. Pay increase. Yeah, yeah, Lord, please help me to get more money. Please help me to buy a better house. Stuff like that. Nothing wrong with more money or a better house at all. These prayers don't appear to bear fruit sometimes because what we're asking for when we ask for anything in this world is just an illusion. It is. This entire world is an illusion, and the physical body is also illusory. It's not the Son of God. It's not who we are. So Jesus would like us to be very clear here that the purpose of this course is not getting a car. It's not getting a pay increase. It's escape from fear. It's not getting stuff in the physical world. It's not getting a hotter, sexier body or a hotter, sexier lover. It's not getting a hotter, sexier ride. It's escape from fear. It's in the mind. That's why it's worth repeating that this course is a course in mind training. This is worth repeating because there are moments where we would like it to be about something else, where we would like it to be about accumulating stuff and fame and prestige and good fortune and all those other dramatic concepts that we've completely invented in this world. I mean, really, there are times where we want this to be about anything but mind training, but that is what this course is. And you could say, and rightly so, that all spirituality is about the same thing, whether it states it or not. This course simply happens to state it. Cutting right to the chase, which is what we all insist that we want in the world. Get to the bottom line. Get right to the point and don't waste my time. We say this to each other. We say this to ourselves. So let's do it. Why not? It's what we all want, the peace of God. So that's an invitation to stop kidding ourselves. And if you want to pray for a brand new late model Mercedes, go for it. Okay, no problem. Just understand that that car is an illusion. It's totally impermanent. It will get a flat tire, and someone in the parking lot is going to ding your brand new late model Mercedes door at some point. I mean, think of all of the drivers out there and what actually happens to automobiles in this world. They're very impermanent, aren't they? So let's talk for a minute more here about prayer and prayers for physical healing, because this is very common. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, just like there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for a brand new late model Mercedes. Prayers for healing of the physical body are actually not prayers for healing at all, nor is the prayer to get a brand new late model Mercedes. Nice and black, please. Yeah, with all the payments made already. And the insurance prepaid for 3 or 4 years. If you want to give me that automobile, I'll happily take it. I mean, I'm just saying. To get the point here, a prayer for physical healing and any stuff is actually not a prayer for healing at all. Healing is done in the mind. It is not done at the level of the physical body, which is a common mistake that we make here in the world. And it's very easy to see why we do that. It is because we're conditioned to believe that this physical body is who we are. And we're conditioned to believe that its short life is our life. Limited, finite, 80 to 90 calendar years, if we're lucky. And it could be a lot less than that, couldn't it? That's not who we are. And a prayer to heal the physical body is simply to remove a symptom. It's not healing because it's not healing the mind. So what do we do in this course in mind training? We set to work healing the mind. The physical body may follow, and we say that it may follow because sometimes when you heal the mind, physical ailments, physical symptoms will decrease or they'll go away, but that is not ever a guarantee. Practicing true forgiveness of the Son of God is designed to heal the mind. If you have a chronic condition, or a chronic illness, whether it be cancer or something else, doing this course and learning this course and forgiving the Son of God and the physical body and yourself for dreaming it, don't leave that out, right? Doing all of that is not necessarily a guarantee that the physical body is going to make a complete and full recovery. That's not the point. Maybe it happens, and if it doesn't, then it's actually not the point. The point is to heal the mind. The mind is the cause. The physical body is an effect. We get this backwards in the world when our biology textbooks tell us that this image that you see on the screen is you. When you look in the mirror, that's you. No, it's not. Nor is the thing that's casting the reflection in the mirror you. Not even. And we all know this. So, a prayer to heal the physical body, it is not a prayer to be released from fear, which takes place at the level of the mind. Therefore, it's simply removing a symptom. And if it happens, great. No problem. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with praying for a pay increase, or if you're not sure where the next rent payment or mortgage payment is going to come from. Nothing wrong with praying for something like that. Just understand what's really going on here. We're just exchanging one illusion for another. That's all. And this is important for us as course students because we've answered the call of our inner teacher to awaken. And you may have hit a point where delay is no longer tolerable, where it's no longer okay to waste your time. Perhaps you've hit that point. So we get right to the point and get to work, as it were, releasing the Son of God. Forgive and release. Whom do you forgive and release? Exactly yourself. There is no separation of any kind, ever. It's impossible. Which, of course, is not what the body's eyes show us. They show us 8 billion of these things running around in pitched battle, economic competition, everybody trying to get one up on someone else. Sick of it yet? I'm just asking. It's a question that we should all ask ourselves frequently. The interesting thing about all of these prayers is this: all prayer is answered, all of it. Here's an important consideration. It's all answered, but the Holy Spirit's response will never be one that increases fear. This is important. His response will never be one that increases fear. If a spontaneous, sudden physical healing, what we would consider a miraculous healing event, were to take place, and it would freak out the person getting healed, if it would upend their existential cart, so to speak, and plunge them into a fearful, dark crisis because their worldview was ripped out from under them, then you can bet that the Holy Spirit's not going to respond in that way because it increases fear. That's an example. This can be why some of these prayers appear to be unanswered, including prayers for healing the mind. If the response would produce fear, you can bet that you won't get that response because it will induce fear. If it's going to increase fear, the Holy Spirit doesn't respond in that way. What happens instead is that all prayers are answered, and we have many answers because all prayer is answered. So we have, if you want to consider it to be a storehouse of answers, then that may be a helpful way to look at it. We have many, many answers. We've received them because when something is given or asked for, it's received instantly. But it may not be accepted right away. So we have many answers that we haven't heard. In other words, we haven't accepted them. And the reason for that is, well, it has not been the right time. We have not been ready for the answer. But we're invited to rest assured that this storehouse, so to speak, is vast. When your inner teacher knows that it's time for you to receive an answer without fear, then you'll be given that answer, you'll hear it. So this is another version of the power of allowing truth to be just as it is. It means we're setting aside our own fearful desires to control it, to order and manipulate and orchestrate this dream world, this illusory world. And it is an illusion. All of these answers wait for us. They simply wait. All prayer is answered. So we're invited here in the present moment, knowing this and hearing this. And it may be the first time that you've heard this, or it may be the 200th time that you've heard this. We're invited in the present moment to use this moment to connect with the Holy Spirit, to connect with Jesus, to connect with our inner teacher, whatever you may call it. And you may, in fact, call it by multiple names and refer to it as your guides, plural. They're just names. Doesn't matter. Our inner teacher is part of our mind, the part that is referred to throughout A Course in Miracles as the voice for God, speaks for God. This is a part of our mind that knows who we are and points us in that direction. So we can do a lot right here, right now. When else? To ask our inner teacher for guidance, to set aside all of our personal ego-centered desires and allow our inner teacher to run the show. This is a very frightening proposition for the ego. The ego wants you to reject what's being said right now. And perhaps you're experiencing monumental, even violent resistance. I don't know. Expect resistance on the path. It's the ego that's afraid. It's the ego that's resisting. The ego does not want you to continue to do what you've already started and can't go back to. You've begun to walk this thing that we call the path when you heard our inner teacher's voice, whether you were consciously aware of it or not, and embarked on this thing that we refer to as the spiritual path. And lo and behold, it's led you right here to A Course in Miracles. Welcome. The reason that it's possible for us to say that you can't go back is that it's true. There can be no going back because it's not satisfying and it's not worthy of the Son of God. We're all invited to take that one to heart. It's not worthy of you. It's not worthy of you to continue to deny truth and make yourself and everyone else miserable. It's not worthy of the Son of God to return to the proverbial couch and cover his or her eyes and pretend to hide from truth, which is all that there really is. So there can be no hiding from that. So rather than see that as frightening, see that as joyous, because truth is all that there is. God is all that there is. All else is illusion. And rest assured that you and everyone that you love and everyone that appears in this lifetime as your so-called enemy, every single one of us is alive and well and wholly joyous in God, where we've never left. Ideas, you and me, your worst political enemy, all of us, ideas, the thought of God. Ideas leave not their source. You are free to capitalize the S on source. Please do. It's much more helpful that way, isn't it? What this means is that thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Our loving thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. So when you encounter resistance, a question that frequently comes up is, well, okay, what do I actually do about this? Great question, of course. Ask your inner teacher for guidance. It can rightly be said that the heart of the practical application of this course is in the relationship that we all have with our inner teacher who directs us. And what I'm being directed to do is exactly what you see here, is to speak to a worldwide audience. That's my own personal directive, and you can rest assured that it is a directive, which I happen to enjoy, but it is a directive. So you may be directed to do something completely different, right? Not everyone is going to do what I'm doing, and not everyone's going to do what you're doing. And the reason for all this apparent variation is that there are people out there that only you will be able to fully and effectively reach. The Holy Spirit coming through you is going to have much more of an impact than it is coming through me or anyone else. So we show up and we forgive the Son of God and we get in touch with our inner teacher. And if we have questions, we ask. Now, also, you're more than welcome to ask questions here on YouTube in this format. There have been a number of really excellent discussion questions here, especially in the last couple of months. So if you've got questions, I certainly invite those. And even if you want to just pop in on the comments and say hello, we'd love to hear from you as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, here's the subscription button. It's that arrow in the corner of your screen. I invite you to click on that, and I invite you to join us here. Several videos appear, by the way, each week. So if you're watching right here at the tail end of this video, I thank you for joining me. My wife, Cindy, and I are going to be on a Caribbean cruise over the next 10 days. or so here, but I have pre-recorded several videos that I will be publishing in the interim. So you'll continue to get videos and you'll continue to get a very important message, whatever that may actually be, from our inner teacher. So I invite you to continue tuning in, and I will see you again in the next video. Thank you, as always, for joining me.